Turn my vocals up a tad bit here. There we go. It's probably a little better. Welcome to another episode of Wheelchair Wednesday here at the Wheelhouse. I'm your host, Wheelchair Rick. I'm a T3, T4 paraplegic. And today we have a special friend coming to us all the way from the great state of Ohio. But before we get to him, let's roll the intro. Welcome to Wheelchair Wednesday. All right, y'all, let's welcome Anthony Vernace. How do I say that? Vernace. There we go. Vernace. I wasn't too far up. How you doing today, man?
Not bad. Can't complain. How you doing?
Doing all right. You know, it's a pretty good day to be alive.
That's fair.
Yep. So, the first thing that we're going to get into is pretty much you probably get it all the time, especially if you're in a wheelchair. Somebody walks up to you and they say, hey, how did it happen? Like, how did you get in that situation? So go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell people who you are, where you're from, and what happened.
Tony, I'm originally from New Orleans. My wife's from Cleveland, so I moved up here. Usually when people ask that question, I tell them I just wanted some cool furniture. But truth be told,
Nice.
Truck broke down. I was walking as one would when a vehicle breaks down, trying to, I think, go to a gas station. I don't remember. I got hit by a car doing a Toyota Tundra doing 65 miles an hour. Went through the windshield. They found my body about 1,000 yards away. I was originally DOA. Luckily for me, the eyewitness to the thing was a former flight surgeon with the military in his work truck, and he was a safety manager for a chemical plant near where the accident happened or incident. And he brought me back and got EMS out there, life flighted to Trauma 1, and spent a couple of months in a coma ward and a couple of months in rehab. And after that, went back to school and got an electrical engineering degree.
Wow. So still went and did what you were supposed to do, what you originally had planned. I give it to you on that one. That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually had no intention of going back to school. I was a truck driver during the day, and I was a chef at night, and I was happy with that. But considering neither one of those jobs worked for a paraplegic.
Oh, so that's what made you go back. You're like, well, I got to do something else now.
Yeah. And then Obamacare passed, and I found out that going back to work meant losing money. So Now I just do part-time stuff for fun. Right now I'm working at the Y as a fitness instructor.
Okay. That's pretty dope. Fitness instructor. You seem like a pretty nice, stout guy. I mean, you keep people in shape in wheelchairs then?
I'm trying to get to that point. I just started doing this about 6 months ago. 3 years ago, I had to go in for a urological procedure. They weighed me before the procedure, and I weighed in at almost 500 pounds. And I was in shock because, we all get lazy in these things. And ended up losing 300 pounds, and then got on the fitness, just fell in love with that whole aspect, and figured I wanted to teach other people how to do it. So I'm down to right at 200 now, and figured if I can help somebody else, if I can do it from a wheelchair, there's no reason why a biped can't, for one.
Right.
And for two, I wish somebody would have warned me before I got that big,
Yeah, absolutely. It takes somebody to, and also it takes somebody to see you, to doing it first, so you want to get into the mood. What got you into wanting to do it? Just because you had to do it?
Well, it was getting hard to transfer in and out the vehicle. We have an SUV, so that was kind of a pain, and no pain in the ass getting in and out of it.
Right.
We had just bought a 2-story house where the master was upstairs, and getting on and off the chair climber was scary, for one.
Oh yeah, that being that heavy, I can imagine.
Yeah, so it was just one of those. When I first started, I couldn't get down the street without running out of breath, and now I'm doing 10 to 15 miles a day in the chair through the neighborhood along the Lake Erie, and the winters kind of suck because it's so icy, but it's still have to do it anyway.
Right.
And I guess that endorphin rush, is an addiction. And when I started seeing the mobility come back, as far as transfers getting easier, all that kind of stuff, it was well worth it.
Right.
You know, it was more of between that and change of diet. Being a former chef in New Orleans, there's a reason why Louisiana's top on the diabetes wish list.
Yeah, I can imagine. Um, yeah, I think all of us have something better we could do with our health, even the people that are trying. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Oh, yeah.
mostly for me. It's like convenient, though. You know what I mean? They make it so convenient. You have to go out of your way, and you have to spend more money, and you have to make more
That's
effort just
exactly.
to be a little healthier.
Exactly. It's cheaper to eat unhealthy, which is astonishing when you consider they're adding chemicals to the food.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's, I don't know. Like tonight was just seared chicken, baked potato, and green beans.
Right.
Ordinarily, 3 years ago it would have been chicken gumbo or jambalaya.
Right.
So it's just taking the same amount of work because I like to cook though. Take the same amount of work and maybe a little bit of planning to, a week's worth of lunches and that kind of thing. But it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, I don't usually get too political, but this new administration coming in, like, they promise to get all those chemicals and all the crap out of the food. What do you think? Maybe, hopefully.
I'd like to see it happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so tricky nowadays with there's so much money involved with all of it. It's cheaper to keep
yeah.
everybody safe.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's how they make the money. The pharmaceuticals,
Right.
guy. I mean, you can't make no money if you ain't selling, the cure.
Right. When the same company that's getting you unhealthy is also giving you the medication to treat the unhealthiness they're giving you, it's, they're making money on every level.
Right. Yep. Big money grab.
I don't want to get into the conspiracy thing, but Vanguard, BlackRock, they're in charge of all of it. But.
Yeah. See, you're on the same level as me, sir. But no, yeah, you're right. But that's another thing I was talking to a friend about the other day is the monopoly that these people have on just medical equipment alone.
We'll look at the chairs.
Yeah.
You can buy a handmade chair from, what is it, Reckless, for what, about $1,800, $2,000.
Yeah.
Or you go get a tie light or something like. I use tie light, but you go get a tie or a quickie from a company that's regulated with the FDA. The price goes up double.
Yep.
Yeah,
the manual chair I have, I think it was like $12,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. I mean, for me, I was like $12,000 like for that. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, wait till you see your power chair." And then they brought me the power chair, and I was like, "How much for this?" And it's a Promobile F3, $57,000. I about lost
my
it.
My first wheelchair when I got out the hospital was a Levo stand-up chair. Altogether, the package was $63,000.
Wow.
And I just went, what? Just a manual stand-up wheelchair, but it had the emotion wheels and all that other kind of stuff. Now I just use a Thai TRA with the Spinergy wheels and a little camber, and that's another one though. The wheels that I have are what, $1,500 for the set. The same exact wheels for a bicycle are about $800.
Yeah. I doing this wheelhouse thing. It's pretty much an old boat barn that I converted into like kind of a man cave sort of hangout space. I was looking for wheels to hang on the wheelhouse walls, right? Like kind of decoration. I figured, I could go online and find some wheelchair wheels. Oh no, nope. Everything that they had wheelchair was, dude, you're still spending $200, $300, $400. I'm like, dude.
Right.
But I can go get a bike wheel for $5 down the road or something. You know what I mean? It's just not the same.
The shadows from Promobile or Tie Light are what, $600 for the pair?
Yeah. It's
$300 a piece.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, some of that stuff I think is actually worth it. Like, those wheels that they have where they have the shocks and then they have the never run flat where it's actually, you can go up curbs, down curbs, whatever. Those things are badass. I like those. But just for a regular wheel with a regular air tube with you know what I mean? Like, this is crazy.
And I had my first chair, I had the no flat tires on them. I didn't like them. The ride was too rough.
Yeah. Especially
when I started doing the distance riding. I want the pneumatic just for the softer ride. But still, what is it? It's a bike wheel with a hand rim on it. You can't tell me that justifies an extra $400.
Right.
I get spending more money for for it being light and it having the less spokes on it and the durability. I understand good things cost money. You don't go buy a pair of Nikes and expect to pay $20 for them. Fair. But $1,500.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder, man, who's getting the money and what's really going down.
Yeah.
But that's I'm gonna have to have Tony back for a conspiracy wheelchair Wednesday when we talk about where the money goes and who's making it. And yeah,
that's fair. Yeah. FDA.
Yep. Now this next question I got for you is kind of it's theoretical, obviously, but it's more of like, would you walk if you could? Now, what I mean by that is if you could go back to the time of your injury and stop right there and make sure I don't know what would happen, but you wouldn't get injured. You would just keep living your life there, but you would forget all the knowledge and all the stuff that you have now. Or would you stay where you're at now? Would you go back or stay where you're at?
I'd stay where I'm at.
Nice. That was fast.
Yeah. I've been asked that before, and I would stay where I'm at.
Right.
I've always taken pride with the fact that I have a little incremental bit of asshole in me.
Mm-hmm.
But pre-injury, I was a complete asshole. Albeit my wife left when I was in a coma, my wife at the time. So I woke up, my life was totally changed. Wife was gone, house was gone, car was gone.
Oh,
she tried selling my boat. She tried to sell my boat, and luckily my cousins went and got it so that she wouldn't. But I wouldn't have gone back to school. I wouldn't have had a change of my perception. Everything changed for the better in a drastic, exponential way.
Right.
So I wouldn't trade that in for anything. Albeit, if somebody walked up to me and said, "I can fix your body right now," and boom, I really don't know. I honestly don't know if I would take that option.
See, now you're getting along the aspects of the Elon Musk chip thing, because he was talking about that too.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. I mean, even with that though, at this point, it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
I just had 3 months ago. I had to have a fempop bypass done to fix something from the incident that happened 15 years ago. Still, and the muscles in my legs are completely atrophied because it's been so long.
Right.
I don't think I could rebuild them to make them usable anyway, even if I had the chip.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, I probably wouldn't. We tried when I was in rehab back then to get me to walk because I do have one quad that works on my right leg. I can't feel it, but one quad muscle works. And they did this whole thing with the cast in my legs and making braces. And it took 45 minutes to go 72 feet. And I just,
oh yeah, no,
this is pointless. I'm basically pushing a walker forward and dragging my body.
Yeah.
I'm not actually walking.
Yeah.
So just give me the chair. I'm out. This is done.
Yep, I'd be exactly where you were. They tried to get me to sign up for that stuff. And I mean, really, let's think about it. They're making money. It all goes back to the money. They're making money to get you in there. And it doesn't even matter if you don't walk or if you're never going to walk again. They're still going to get you in there. They're going to make the money. You go home, you're hurting like a son of a, whatever. And then they get to do the next person the next day. I'm not saying they don't care about you and they don't want you to walk. But the thing is, would you rather spend your time literally dragging yourself through that, or would you rather just face it and be like, you know what, I'm going to figure something else out?
And that's exactly what I did. I was in school at the time. I went through 2 years of post-hospital rehab, or outpatient rehab.
Outpatient, yeah.
It took 4 years for me to get my 2 degrees. So, I was going from school to the hospital, back to school again. This isn't worth it. It's just not. It's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. You know it's not going to happen.
Right.
Why are we fighting with this?
Yep. Which brings me to my next question. Actually, no, it doesn't. It's in there, but we're going to get to that. Now, next question is dating/married. Now, you said your wife left you while you was in a coma.
Mm-hmm.
How long were you married before the accident?
7 years.
7 years. And were you guys like Rocky or something when you got into the accident, or what?
I was working 2 jobs.
I don't mean to pry or nothing. You don't have to answer that. No. I was just,
It's fine. I'm an open book. I used to do public speaking engagements on all this kind of stuff, and people would ask all the time. I don't know if I'd say rocky, but we weren't happy. The outcome was going to be inevitable anyway. I was working 2 jobs. When it wasn't working, I was out fishing anyhow. Trying to not be home as much as possible.
So at least you weren't out drinking or doing drugs or something.
No, I quit that lifestyle in my early 20s. But
all right.
growing up in New Orleans, you get all that out of your system shortly after high school because you started halfway through high school.
Right.
But she was working and always out with her friends and God knows what. I mean, it just, we grew apart, I guess would be the way to put it. There's no hate, no animosity there, but it is what it is.
Right.
I dated for a while after I got out the hospital. Dated 2 or 3 people post injury, and then my wife and I met online. My current wife and I met online through a shared hobby. We talked on the computer for a couple of years, and then she made a visit down. I made a visit up, and kind of went from there.
Yeah, so you got remarried. And everything turned out pretty well, eh?
Yeah, I can't complain. We bought the house 2 years ago, and yeah.
Heck yeah, man. Now,
In fact, I dated more post-injury than I did pre-injury.
Now you mentioned hobbies. That's actually my number 8 question, but I'm gonna switch it to number 4. What about your hobbies that brought you guys together? What was that? What would you like to do?
Actually, that one was, we both had quit smoking by vaping back in, I 2010 injury, about 2013, 2014, the early days of vaping.
Right.
When, like, this is what I use now, and I build them for fun as a hobby.
Oh, okay.
And she was just getting into it. I'd already been into it for a while, and at the time, we were taking, like, the coils out of toasters to make the heating element for them, and just hooking up batteries to leads and using inexpensive chips if we were making a controlled mod, or that I don't use anymore, but variable voltage mod where you could tune in the voltage and that kind of thing. She was using the little pens, kind of stuff, and I went from with that smoking 2 packs a day to nothing immediately. And now we still do that, but not much. Like, I don't even use nicotine in mine. It's more of a hand-to-mouth thing.
Yep.
But that was the hobby that we got together with. But in addition to that, I fish, I exercise a lot, cook, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that was one of my things when I kind of got home and everybody else around me still smoked cigarettes and I smoked cigarettes, and I was like, well, I want to try one. And so one day I went to go try one that was like a half one that my girlfriend had, and it didn't end up too well. I ended up with a code brown, like right away. It hit me, and I was like, oh, shit. I was like, I got to go. I was like, oh, my God. I didn't know what was happening. I freaked out. That was the first one, I think, wasn't it? My body was on fire. I didn't know what was going on. It was nuts. So, yeah, needless to say, I didn't do that anymore. I gave it up then and there. I maybe upped my marijuana use a little bit, but that's because it's legal in my state.
I never got into that. I tried that once, and I got woken up sleeping on the trunk of my car.
Oh, damn. You must have had some good stuff.
Apparently so. A cop woke me up sleeping on the trunk of my car on the corner of Tchoupitoulas and State Street, New Orleans.
Man, are you sure you didn't get some stuff like Smokey got that one night, laced with some chicken stuff or something?
I have no idea. I was at a music club down there, and a friend of mine had some, and I was sure, I'll try it. Why not?
Right.
Next thing you know, I got a cop going, what are you doing? Huh? Sleeping on the hood of an old Taurus.
Right. Dang.
Like, apparently this is bad. He goes, just go home.
That's
Sweet.
Funny. That's awesome. What's your biggest pet peeve about being in a chair?
The cushions. I absolutely hate the cushions.
Talk about like the Rojos or whatever?
Yeah, I use a Rojo Hyper Elite. I can't stand that they pop all the time. I've always got to have a backup.
Forever. I've never had mine pop, but I don't know.
My first Rojo I had for about 8 years. And I just got a new one when I got this chair last year. And I ordered 2 because I wanted to have one to put upstairs and one to keep downstairs because I have my old chair upstairs, so I don't have to bring the chair back and forth. And this one popped 6 months after I got it. So I took my one upstairs, put it on, patched it, and put this one upstairs because I don't use the upstairs chair that often. And I'm working on 6 months on this one, so hopefully this one holds out. But it's just a pain in the ass. That and cathing be my other one. I hate that.
Right. Understandable.
I see too.
Well, it's all about being comfortable and having a way that you do things. Everybody has their own certain way and their own routine of how they handle their, business and do their stuff. And just like your thing with the cushions. like some people, I've seen just use completely different things. Like some people take two. I've seen this one dude took 2 mats off of kitchen tables or kitchen chairs and uses them. And I'm like, that's
For
stuff.
his cushion?
Yeah, and I'm like, that doesn't seem safe. He's like, dude, it's a lot better because he still has feeling, so he can still feel.
Oh. Oh, okay. So he doesn't have as much to worry about with like pressure ulcers and that
Right.
kind of
Well,
thing.
that's what I thought. Yeah, and he was like, "Nah, man." He's like, "This is a lot better because the other stuff, I guess, makes him break out and sweat, and it doesn't have enough
That's fair.
regulatory with stuff. I guess I don't know. To each their
I
own."
could see that.
Right.
I can see that. I know after a good workout, the cushion is basically just drenched in sweat because
Right.
even though you don't feel it, you're still sweating.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I've had to deal with that stuff during the summertime too. Which, I mean, like I said, everybody gets your routine. You figure out what goes on, and then you got to go from there of how to fix that problem. You know what I mean? What is something that you wish you could do now that you can no longer do?
I guess pee without cathing. Knowing I had to pee instead of you know using a timer.
Yeah.
That's probably it. The not being able to reach the top shelf thing doesn't bother me. When I go shopping, especially for like groceries, I grab a couple of apples, and when I want some off the top shelf, I throw an apple at it. You'd be amazed how quick an employee shows up and asks if they can help.
Right. Be like, hey man, yeah, no big deal.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just fun. Or I bring the kids and make them climb up.
Right. Now, when you were talking about doing the peeing, you know, with the cast and whatever, like I thought about that too. Damn it, there was something else I was gonna say and I forgot about it. Oh well, we'll move on. Go ahead. I'll think about it and I'll bring it back up. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely like to. Oh no, that's what it was. So you said like you use a timer. See, for me, I get these like goosebumps. I'll get a goosebump feeling. You don't ever get that?
Really?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I get where like I get the urge sometimes. And sometimes it's a false alarm, sometimes it's not. And I know when it's a false alarm because like nothing comes out, or you know when you have that time. I've been like I said 15 years now, and I think I have the deal where I have to go stretch out the little hole in there,
Right.
like deep in, like by the prostate.
Oh gosh.
But it's hard to kind of get the cath through, and if I'm dehydrated, I can't get it through.
I've ran into that before too.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's the guesswork of it. Yeah, I just basically every 4 to 6 hours go try, basically, and
that's gotta be exhausting, keeping track of all your intake, your fluids.
Yeah.
But even like waking up at night, like sometimes because sometimes at night I don't have to wake up at all.
I won't do that. I make sure that like I get to bed, and I came up with a system years ago where I have an adjustable bed, so I raise the legs all the way up and kind of let all the fluid or the swelling drain down.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Because I swell pretty bad during the day, and then essentially lay like that for about an hour and a half, whatever. Go right before I go to sleep, and then first thing I wake up in the morning. But I don't in the middle of the night. There's no way I wouldn't do that. It's a pain in the ass.
Right. Oh yeah. See me, I feel it, so I have to wake up. It'll wake me up, and I'll feel it, and then I'll have to fucking like go. So I guess I'm lucky on that stance, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. I wish I could feel when I had to go. That would make life a lot easier.
What about pain? You got any pain?
Constant.
Yeah. What's your story on that?
Both legs, I get real bad in my left thigh and my right knee. Like right now, it's just kind of aggravating, but as the night goes on and the weather starts changing, it'll get a lot worse. It's not too often anymore where it's, I don't know, debilitating pain, but it does happen.
Right.
I don't take anything for it because when I moved to Ohio, when I was in New Orleans, I was taking Tramadol for it. When I moved to Ohio, they wouldn't give me the Tramadol unless I was going to a pain clinic, and they wanted me to get piss tests every 2 weeks.
Oh hell!
To make sure the level was the same. But I never took it every day. I took it when it hurt. So I'm like, I'm not going to regulate myself to where I have to take more than I need. And I'm not going to take less than I need. So just forget about it. And I just never bothered. And if it gets real bad, I'll take some ibuprofen and
So
That'll take the edge
I
off.
give you props to that, man, because like my pain that I have is like it's I'm a T3 T4, so like chest right to the back. I think it's exactly where I must have been like, because I was ejected from a car, so I must have been thrown through the air and hit a tree or something, because they found me in the woods. So I'm guessing that's what happened. But like on my point of injury, constant pain, never goes away. Some days it's like 7, 8, real bad. Other days it's like manageable. You know what I mean? 1, 2.
Yeah.
And I take gabapentin, naproxen, and baclofen. So that, yeah, 3 times a day.
They tried baclofen for me when I was inpatient, and it made me feel loaded. But then again, I smoked pot once and I used to drink a lot. I never got into anything.
Baclofen, I'm only on 10 milligrams 3 times a day. So it's really not like, all that does is kind of helps my legs not do the dance. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Gabapentin they gave me, and I never did try it because I didn't make the mistake of reading reviews on it. And,
Oh God, yeah, don't do that because you'll fucking. I'm sorry about my language, but you'll walk away. You'll be like, nope, can't do it.
That's exactly it right there. And after that, I won't look at anything medical online ever again.
No, yeah, I made the mistake of reading it after taking it for 2 years, and then I was like, okay, well now what? And it's like I can get off of it. They'll have to wean me off of it. But I'll tell you right now, bro, like if I don't have it and it's time to take it, I feel it and it gets bad. Like my pain gets super bad. And I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that go without it, whatever. But like if you were dealing with pain like I'm talking about, I don't think I couldn't do it. I don't know. I would have to have something. Because when they left me out of the hospital, I was on Valium. And some other shit, which you know as well as I do. Valium's like narcotics. It's one of the top shelf narcotics. So I was feeling really good. Well, then as soon as I got home, they switched me to gabapentin, and immediately the pain started in. And I'm like, dude, this isn't touching anything. They were giving me 600 milligrams 3 times a day. Wasn't touching anything.
What do you want now?
800 3 times a day, and it actually manages it pretty good. Now. 3 times a day, I'm talking, I'll wake up at 9, I'll take it. About 1 or 2 comes, I'll start feeling the pain, get bad again, I'll take it again. And then about 7 o'clock or so, I'll take it again. And then by that time, I'm in bed, I got gummies, I'll take a weed gummy, and then I'll go to bed. And then it's just, relay of that. But
I do have those. If it gets so bad at night that I can't sleep, which is usually like if there's a big storm coming, or like I noticed the barometric pressure is tied to the pain pretty close with me. So if something like that's happening, I'll take a CBD, not the ones without the THC in them.
Right.
I'll get that, and that'll help at least knock me out. I don't know that it helps the pain so much as it puts me to sleep, so I don't feel it anyway.
Maybe that's why I've been collecting barometers for the past few weeks. I don't know why. I seen a barometer at a Goodwill, and I grabbed it one day, and then I just started grabbing every barometer I've seen after that. So the wheelhouse itself has multiple barometers on multiple walls. I need to learn how to read it, and maybe actually get a handle on how it works.
Is it the kind with almost looks like a thermometer, or is it the kind with?
Yeah, no, it's the one that's got the dials and it's got the. Yep, I'm looking at one right now. It's got the temperature, it's got the barometric pressure, and then it's got the.
What's the barometric pressure say?
I don't know. Hold on, which one is that one? Oh, it's nope, that's the thermometer. Oh, it's at 29. I don't know if that one works or not. 29.
Okay, that's pretty. Michigan, that's about central U.S. That's pretty standard.
Okay.
With me, it's when it's moving. Like if the pressure is going up or down,
right,
is when it gets to me. That's where about right now when, thankfully it's stupid daylight savings BS. But now that the sun's going down, it'll start getting cooler, and that's when it'll start setting in because the pressure's dropping as it gets cooler.
Yeah, so it's almost like the colder it gets, the more pain you kind of have to endure.
The colder it gets, or sometimes like hurricanes,
or like thunderstorms or something like that, right?
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Almost goes away like your grandmother when her knees hurt. And she's like, "Oh, it's gonna rain." You're like, "Oh."
That's exactly it. I'm literally a human weather vane.
Right.
Like I know if it's okay. I need to go for a run now because it's gonna rain in about 3 hours. So let me get this out of the way.
Nice.
I can kind of use that as a judge.
Yep. You'd be the guy that somebody has to call, like, man, we got to call Tony and see if it's going to rain. We got to get this football game underway. Hold on, let me see. But hey, how you feeling, man? He's like, I don't know.
Right. Are your legs hopping yet? No,
Right.
not yet.
Let me ask you this: what is the one thing that helps you the most after your injury?
Honestly, and I don't think I've ever said this publicly to anyone. I was a rare case. I know that. The doctors, the nurses, and the therapists were kind of shocked. I gave myself, after I came out of the coma at the rehab center, I gave myself 3 days to be upset. Get all the emotions out now, because I knew, despite all of it, I was only 33 years old. I still have to live my life. I have to figure out some kind of way to live with whatever I got left.
Dude, I was 33. That's crazy.
And so I made the conscious decision. I'm giving myself 3 days to mourn, and then I got to get to work. On day 3, I woke up, and right out the window was St. Louis Cathedral in New Orleans. When you look at a postcard of the city, you see that big church.
Mm-hmm.
It was that church. The cross was kind of lit up as the sun was coming up. And a couple hours later, my dad's old boss, who we were very good friends with his family, comes by with a Bible, and he just had some passages marked, and I've marked some stuff for you to read if you get the chance, whatever. Like, he wasn't all pushy about anything. You grew up very Catholic down there. And I started reading it, and it was just, he was right. That helped me more than anything was that. And I started the next day getting up at 5 a.m., wheeling myself to the gym in the hospital. Like, I'd had get the nurses to help me get in the chair at that time still, because I had a fixator on my leg and all that other kind of crap.
Mm-hmm.
So I still had all the hardware, the fixator, the clamshell, everything. And I just started lifting very small weights, 5, 10-pound curls, that kind of thing. Because I knew I'd been in a coma for months. So you got to get your strength back somehow.
Right.
So it was between faith and exercise. Those two things kind of just got me through. I left the hospital in the best physical shape of my life, even to this day. Like, I was wearing pants smaller than I wore in high school. It was bizarre.
Let's give it up for him, folks. That's crazy. It's crazy that you said that you had a friend that stopped by to give you a Bible that had some passages marked, because the exact same thing happened to me. I had my friend of mine's mother came by, and she had a Bible that I still have to this day, and she had some passages marked, and she was like, I just want to give this to you. You look at it whenever you're ready, and blah, blah. And and I was like, wow. And then like that from there, I got to say, like, my faith started growing from there, because it's like, why would we be here otherwise if we didn't have other purpose? You know what I mean? That's how I felt.
No, and that's pretty much it right there. And there was no pushy or anything. It wasn't a let me pray over you thing.
Right.
That was kind of it. I did. In fact, when I was in school, I went for electrical engineering, and I wanted a minor in biomed, thinking I was going to make prosthetics and stuff like that for people. And I was going from the nursing building, where I had a lot of AP classes for the biomed side, to the engineering building on the other side of campus. Me and one of my professors got real tight. He was a chef, I was a chef, so we had similar friends and worked in similar restaurants. And I'm rolling over to the other building. This guy just stops, and I can move my right quad.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy goes, I just want to pray over you. It's like, all right, that's cool, So he's doing this whole, let this man walk again kind of thing. I started shaking my quad on purpose.
Oh, gosh.
But dude, it's working. It's working. Can you believe it? I should have done this years ago. Like, I just to mess with him. But the professor's almost on the floor laughing his ass off. I'm like, dude, I got to go to class. I ain't got time for this foolishness.
You know what? That's funny. And I've heard a lot of other people say that that's their pet peeve. And it's happened to me before, too. I think pretty sure if you've been in a wheelchair longer than 3 years, it's going to happen to you at one point or another.
Yeah. And I appreciate the thought. I appreciate that you care. I really do. But don't shove stuff down my throat.
Yeah, because you don't know that person's religion. You don't know what that person's thinking, what that person wants. You can't just roll up to them and say, let me pray for you, and then put your hand on me and act like you're some kind of savior.
Right. it's one thing if I'm at church and the priest decides he wants to do it. That's
Yeah,
fine.
right.
I'm at your house. Yeah, I understand that. That's I'm at your house. That's fair.
What up, Sicko
Or
ENT? Good to see you. This is a live show, by the way, so people can
oh,
talk and say
okay.
what's up.
Oh, my bad. Well,
No, go ahead.
that or like my parents are real good friends with the church they go to, and the priest goes to their house. So if I happen to be visiting down there and he's at the house, he might, and that's fine. But when it's just a total stranger, dude, come on, man.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird, bro. Get some space. Next question I got for you is, what about traveling?
It's a pain in the ass, but I like doing it. I mean, we go down to New Orleans once or twice a year to visit my family from Cleveland, and we drive because we take the kids. That's
How do they say it down there? It's
24
more
hours.
like New Orleans, ain't it? It's like New Orleans, not New Orleans.
I say New Orleans. I don't know how it sounds to you, but
Right, right. Oh, but yeah, go ahead.
My mom's got that stereotypical New Orleans accent. I think my generation lost it, but
I can kind of hear it. I can kind of hear a faint southern New Orleans, what do they call it, Bayou accent?
yeah, we call it the Yat. But yeah, and I've been in Ohio now for 8 years, 9 years, so I've lost some of it, I'm sure.
Right, right, yeah.
But we go down again. It's a 24-hour drive, and we only drive because flying with 4 people is stupid expensive.
Oh, yeah.
But when I just go, or my wife and I go, we fly, and I don't mind it. I always fly first class just because of the wheelchair. It makes it easier. It's easier than that transport chair in an airplane.
Yeah, the skinny one that has to go through the aisles and it's all hard and usually metal.
Only one ass cheek fits on it for me,
Yeah.
and I'd rather make sure I get off as soon as possible. So I spend the extra money for first class just to make sure I don't get all the way to the back of the plane.
Yeah, that would really suck. They need to start letting us come in there with our chairs because, like, I mostly use a power chair. Even though I'm a paraplegic, I get a lot of crap for it. But I drive my vehicle in this chair. It's got a bolt in the bottom that's hooked up to it, and it's it's a lot easier for me to get around my property. So it's like, cry if you
That's
want.
fair.
You know what I mean?
No, to each his own. I used to have a smart drive.
Right.
I mean, I get it, the same thing.
But no, I think that the airlines they're just now starting to come around. I've seen a few different stories online where people are able to get on there with their chairs now, but it's got to be their manual chairs.
Frontier, I think, had an idea where they were going to put a section on the plane for like 1 or 2 wheelchairs at a time.
Right. You should have enough. I would say you should have enough for 4 to 6 wheelchairs. Maybe four tops, at least 4. 4 spots for power wheelchairs or electric wheelchairs. Or regular
and even
wheelchairs.
if you make the seats removable, so you can just put a regular seat there if you don't have anybody booked for them.
Right.
You know, if they can do it in a car, they damn well can do it in a plane.
Absolutely.
I do always make sure that because I use a manual, my chair stays in the cabin. I don't let them put it in the belly of the plane.
Oh, no, yeah. No, don't do that, because as soon as you do that, bye-bye. It's gone.
Yeah, I've heard and seen enough nightmares with that foolishness. I'm not. Nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
This is my way. It stays with me.
That's a whole nother story there, getting into horror shows. So, last question I got for you for the day is, what would be the biggest piece of advice that you would give to somebody who was newly injured?
Stay as fit as you can as long as you can. Don't fall into the trap that I did where you blow up like a balloon because you got lazy or you're living in an unsafe area or whatever the case may be. Losing weight from these things is a nightmare and makes your life a living hell in every way, shape, and form. Even if you're a quad or a tetra or whatever word they use for it now.
Tetraplegic?
Yeah, when I got injured, it was still quad. So I'm old.
Yeah,
but
I still use quad too.
Even the little bit of mobility you have goes out the window when you get big. It's not worth it.
Right.
At least try to burn some calories or blow out some energy at least once a week, if not twice, and watch what you eat.
Yep. Man, you're speaking to me right now, like literally and figuratively, and I'm just like, dang it, Rick, you got to do it. You got to get in shape.
It's not getting in shape. It's just making sure you don't get too out of shape.
Well, yeah, and that too. And I think, like, for me, if it helps people, I actually went and got, actually, my fiance got me a free weight. I mean, I'm able to grab it, but there's also different things you can get that will help you, and you can
Yeah.
select the weights on it, and it's just really easy to grab and go out and up or like this or whatever, however you want to do it. Also, the TheraBands I use all the time.
Yes. I was about to say those bands are freaking awesome. Because they're calculated for resistance. You can
Yeah.
make it tighter or make it more. You can make it more resistant by kind of wrenching down on it
Well,
if you want.
and you can add band like mine. You can just add a band, so it's like 10 pound, 20 pound, 30 pound
Yeah.
bands. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's not a get thin or get ripped. It's a just stay in some modicum shape.
Absolutely.
I went from 190 pounds when I got out the hospital to 500 pounds, and just because we lived in an unsafe area and I didn't feel, I guess that y'all call it up north the seasonal affective depression or whatever the hell.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I
Yes.
stopped going out and doing things for
Yeah.
a couple of years and blew up, and then started again. It's just simple. It starts with you tell bipeds 1 foot in front of the other to get started, and just wheel around the block. Half a mile. It doesn't take long.
Right, or even like what you're describing here in Michigan, we just call it hibernation season. So it's like literally when it gets cold enough to where you can't go outside and do things, which is getting close to it now. Once it drops below that like 40-degree mark or so, like it's nope, I'm gonna stay inside. Then I do other things, like for instance, play video games, but that's not gonna get your blood pumping. Sometimes it can if you get the right game, such as hobbies. But also, like you said, the TheraBands, doing the free weights, doing something with somebody throwing a ball around inside the medicine ball if you got room to do that. Even from your hospital bed, I used to do that.
I live Lake Erie is half a block up from my house.
Right.
So when we get winter here, it's not that different from where you're at. Or I see nothing but ice for 2 months at the house. I go to the mall. There's a like the dilapidated mall here that's kind of shut down. I just wheel her in there for a couple hours.
Right.
I do a 9-minute 45-second mile in my chair, which is pretty quick. If I'm going full speed,
especially if you got flat floors, man. I tell you right now, doing some flat floor, just some good.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's fun
and
times.
I much prefer it outside because I like taking the hills, and there's a trail here that's all downhill. I go from the uphill side, so I take it downhill.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like being on a luge.
Oh yeah.
You're going full speed, the wheels are chattering, and I'm just kind of feel like I'm in the Olympics. Kind of wheel on up and down the hill.
See, now you're giving me flashbacks. I was in Mary Free Bed up here in Michigan, which is a terrific rehabilitation center for brain injury and spinal cord injury, stuff like that. And I think they gave me the busted chair because they knew. Like every time I'd go, I started going fast, and the chair would just like want to curve right, and so I couldn't get going because I had to keep like repositioning. I think they did that strategically.
I was at Toro in New Orleans, which is supposedly one of the better ones. A good friend of mine that I met in rehab, he was a cop that got shot in the line of duty, brainstem injury.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to like tow me behind his power chair. He'd get it up going real quick till we got to one of the little catwalks that goes kind of downhill a little bit, and he'd jerk it, so he'd swing me.
Oh man!
I almost hit a doctor a couple of times.
That sounds like so much fun.
Oh, they hated it when we both had therapy at the same time, and they absolutely hated it.
And see, what's funny is like the therapists, like a lot of the like the RNs and stuff like that, they laugh at it because you're keeping your spirits up. They don't want you to stop. Right. They want you to have fun, but they want you to do it like in a safe manner.
Right, they loved it. The PT, the OT, and the doctor didn't appreciate it very much. But
no,
that's not my problem.
No, well, Anthony, we appreciate you coming on today. It's been a fun time getting to know you. Now, before we say goodbye to everybody, I'm going to put down at the bottom if you have anything you want to share, or if you want people to reach you, we can put down a link. We'll do that after everything's all said and done. We'll get a picture from you. We'll add a little thumbnail so we can put it on YouTube and all that fun stuff. But besides that, if you guys want to see Anthony, hit him up. He's on Facebook. Everything's there. But besides that, what else do you want to end with, Anthony?
Just keep it real. I know sometimes all of us get those days where it just sucks. It gets better, especially if you're newly injured. Just keep doing you, man.
Heck yeah.
That's all I can really tell you.
I love it. All right. Guys, everybody that's watched, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time here on Wheelchair Wednesday. Anthony, stay with me. We'll be with you in just a second. To everybody else, peace.